Took a breather and came back in no time. Put the ball in my possession and it's showtime. I'm taking the last shot, coach, don't mind. I'm a different predicament, so it troubles you. Game clock ticking and I'm coming for the W. One man ain't enough, they gon' have to double two. Get ball shot made, all the fans loving you. Time expired, everybody rushing you. Now you done showed them what you about. Try to tell you we was gon' make it without a doubt. Do what they can, I'm already stamped, and I be shitting like Kevin Durant. In the game, ate up. When I steps on the floor, I don't waste time. 2 seconds, one shot, I'ma make mine. Hit a 3-pointer on baseline. They want my spot, I'm trying to save mine. So you should move over. 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 So you should move over.
What's good, everybody? Mike's back on, man. Finally, Hoop Narrative Podcast.
Back in the building, bro.
Man, it's your boy OT, and I got my bro Fred Joe in the building. We got a special guest. Once again, we're going to get to him in a little bit. Hoop Narrative Podcast, like I said, sponsored by Loyalty Beard Care for the first time, man. Shout out to Mac.
Yeah, shout out to Charlie Mac, man. Loyalty Beard Care. You know, it's your go-to beard kit. They're committed to making you look your best every day of the week. They offer top-of-the-line ingredients to keep your beard healthy and moisturized, man. If you're, one of those guys, or girls, I want to get your man, their beard right, loyaltybeardcare.com is where you can purchase all that. He's got beard moisturizer, beard growth, beard oil. He's got hats. He's got face masks. So hit him up on Instagram as well, Loyalty Beard Care on Instagram.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to Charlie Mack, man, running that over there. Might have to hop on that myself.
Yeah, I know. I was starting, but I had to get fresh, man. It was kind of shabby.
Our guest, man, he looking like he could use that right now, man. We got the University of Arizona, Seattle native, Terrell Brown Jr. A lot of you guys know him, T Brown. What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
You got a big dub yesterday against USC. So, we got that one. So, it's good.
Come on, 2014 and 15, state champion in high school, man. Terrell Brown, Garfield High School. Just to name a couple things. Went to Shoreline Community College, first team all-region, freshman of the year, all-defensive team. Led the team in scoring with 30. Just to name some things. I mean, it's T. Brown, man. You have a padded career, man. 2 years at Seattle University after that. First team NABC All-District. First team All-WAC. You know what I mean? Scored 1,000 points in 2 years. I'm gonna just stop there. So we can keep on going on, but we like to show our guests their flowers by working on the resume. So,
I appreciate that.
Man, forget all the flowers. I got
added, huh, Otis?
Man, I was about to say no. I mean, we all go way back with him. So for me, T Brown is one of my favorite players when I used to ref at the Rotary. Was my guy. And back in 5th, 6th grade with this guy, he used to get on me a little bit. But definitely I was always been a fan favorite of his game because back then, he was kind of flying under the radar. And I always said to him that, or I said to myself that if there was a player once he got to high school, there was somebody who I want to lead my squad, it'd be T Brown. He's a dog to him.
We always used to talk about that in the group chat too.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And T Brown, like I say, I mean, you walk around now with a chip on your shoulder, very well deserved, and just like we said, I mean, you flew under the radar pretty much in high school, and to see where you're at now, man, like just talk about your journey to going from Garfield High School, the community college route, Seattle U, and now to I'll say definitely the most decorated outside of maybe UCLA, Pac-12 school. Talk about that.
Man, I mean, it wasn't easy, a lot of this grind, self-confidence, always believing in yourself, I would say, starting back at Garfield, my freshman year, I think I had Tucker as a senior that year, D Hall, all them guys. And, that team I put on JV, but I got to suit up and stuff with varsity sometimes, on the bench just to get the atmosphere and, to see what it's like and everything. And them practices was always hard going against D Hall and Tucker in there, Trey. It was all, big name dudes, Tucker from Seattle, D Hall from Seattle, growing up watching them guys play and, sharing the court with them guys has always been special. And then my sophomore year, that's when Tremaine, Deshaun Tucker, Brian all came over. Right. And then, growing up watching Tremaine play, I mean, you go to Lakeside games, he used to have that thing packed out, that small gym.
Yeah.
So it was always like, always a gift, you always kind of like, lean on the vets and, take what you get from the guys. And getting from Tremaine, you got competitiveness, just being a dog,
a lot of edge.
A lot of edge, exactly. And you had to bring that because if you're not, he gonna give you 30 in practice. Him and D-Tuck probably had one of the best defensives in the state at that time. And I know like that, like I need to go against these guys to, get better. Sophomore year, I swung a lot that year. But I remember there was one thing that Ed Haskins gave me was an opportunity to start against Roosevelt. It was like our senior night. And that's when we was 4A. So he was like, or not our senior night, but I think it was maybe their senior night or something like that. But he was like, there's no starting lineup. Whoever like finishes first in the 16, the top 5 gets to start. And I swear to God, like I put my head down and ran so hard to get in that starting lineup, and he kept his word. It was like me, Jay, Sean. I think Brian made it, and I don't think Deshaun or Tremaine made the 16, like top 5, but they made it in time. And he kept his word, and I started that game. It was probably like one of my first actually thrown to the fire moments because it's a Friday night game. You know how that goes, Kinko, whatever. It's Friday night. It's packed, I think we brought out the black jerseys that game too. Yeah. So it's like one of those memories that you just keep forever. Like, I'm getting thrown to the fire at a young age, like sophomore. I don't really even play varsity like that. So it was pretty dope to go through that stuff. We won state that year with Tremaine and guys in the way, and you kind of just learn the leadership role that they had, and then them guys leaving next year kind of was like, okay, now it's your turn. We showed you what to do. Now it's you, Jay, Sean, and Jalen Noel's turn to, lead you guys. And then that's Fonzo came over, and then we got Austin Anderson, who also was really big, person on our team.
Yeah.
And that year, I don't think we lost too many games. But I remember we lost. I was mistaken. I think Metro Championship we lost to Rainier Beach.
Okay. And
then we came back and beat them in state championship. And
count it.
Yeah, when it counted. And those memories, last forever. Like to this day, we still all talk. I was just on the phone with Jay Sean not too long ago. Me and Fonzo still talk, and the relationships I built with them guys, last forever. Even with the coaching staff, Coach Chucky, Coach Brent, Jamal Williams, Coach Haskins. Me and Coach Haskins probably talked about at least a month ago, at least. And we just always keep that connection, wide open.
What's one thing you learned from Haskins, man? I watch him from, the outside looking in, just from what I see, it seems like he runs a program. He holds guys accountable. Tell me something that you learned from him that's stuck with you throughout your career.
Man, I wouldn't say kind of it's not really basketball related.
Yeah.
Our relationship off the court was bigger than it was on the court. I can talk to him about anything. He was always there for me, wherever I needed something to do at school, off the court. We can just talk. Even when I came back home, from the Western Oregon situation, he let me practice with them guys and stuff like that, just to stay in shape and be ready. But it was just the genuineness he had. That's always say he was always genuine with me. He never did it for himself. It was always for giving back to somebody else. And that's you really can't ask that too much from a person to be genuine when you can't do nothing for them. So it was that relation we built was just I think it was just indescribable,
Yeah.
And
on the court, I was going through a wall for.
Exactly. Yeah. He would do that for me, without hesitation. And you can say on the court, it was always something Coach Brent used to say, don't take him, take what he's saying, not how he's saying it,
Yeah.
So he can yell at you, but he always wants you to do the right thing at the end of the day,
It's the message, not the tone.
Exactly. It's the message he's giving you. He can yell. That's what coaches do. They yell at you. Exactly. But listen to the words that they're saying, instead of being defensive, why are you yelling at me? Why are you doing this? So now, when I get to college, I'm getting yelled at by my coaches still, but I'm not taking it as they picking on me or whatever.
Yeah.
They they're trying to help me out. Yep. So that's the biggest thing I took. I got yelled at, in high school, man, doing the stairs, workout Wednesday, all that other stuff. Now you prepare yourself for it, and that's what he gave me. Like prepare for college and prepare for the running.
Constructive criticism.
Exactly.
Being coachable is always pivotal. You always been like I said, a solid kid in my book from what I've seen. When did you see? I say, like, for me, I feel like it was like night and day. Like watching you, you start out more at this, defensive presence, being one of the better on-ball defenders I've seen on and off the ball, a leader.
Agreed.
And then you blink a couple times and you're filling up the stat sheet, putting up dub and 7 assists and 6 rebounds, still doing it.
It's like we looked up and that's what happened. Huh?
Yeah. And so it's like, when was that moment that, it clicked for you? Like, okay, like, I can really play this game on both sides at a high level.
It's just, I feel like the opportunity,
Okay.
Like for myself, like I don't think too much of my stats, like I know what I can do. I prove what I can do already. And it's like, going to Shoreline with Mark, Mark McGoffin is my cousin.
Shout out my boy Marky.
Yeah, he gave me the opportunity to showcase what I can do, like good or bad, we're going to write off you. So like you're going to have to score. You're going to have to play defense too. Like we ain't going to let you just score. But like, we're going to have to need you to do both. And it's like just having the opportunity to. Like I always knew I can. But what made it click was like, you just got to keep working. At the end of the day, me and Mark put a lot of time into that Shoreline gym, late nights.
Yeah, I know. I seen you guys put a lot of work in. Trust me.
Yeah. And even like even Sunday night, I had my own little thing. Like Sunday night, I just invited like 4 or 5 of my friends to Miller, because my cousin used to work. My uncle used to work there.
Okay.
And he had the key, so I'm in Miller at nighttime. 8 o'clock to 10. We're playing 1-on-1, 5 spots, 1-on-1 full court, just trying to get better. And that's like,
so sometimes you were doing 2 a day. Sometimes is what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what it had to be, like at the time, like even to right now, like at the time, you just gotta figure out a way to get it,
Yeah, no excuses.
Exactly. And I wasn't too big about looking far ahead. I was just focusing on the now, like.
And that's where a lot of people, we talk about this, that's where a lot of people kind of fall off, is they're trying to look down at the tunnel and see if they see the light. But sometimes you gotta just, you gotta just grind, and then the light will just pop up, you know what I mean? But some people, if they can't see that light, they don't really want to go down that tunnel. One thing, I know me and Otis, we always talked about this, but I think one thing that was big was your development athletically. Like I know you did a lot of work with Hakeem Stewart to change your body. Like that also, you talk about development, you obviously got in the gym with Marky, but with your body, it seemed like you looked up and you were dunking and, you were flushing it. Like, talk about that process.
So what's really crazy is that when I went to Western Oregon, we had a scrimmage, and one of these dudes had been there for like 3 or 4 years, senior, like redshirt senior and stuff like that. He hit me with a screen. Yeah. And he's like, "Welcome to college."
Yes.
That's my first moment ever. Like, yo, I gotta hit the weights. Like, this ain't like I'm getting smacked. And I'm like, oh shoot, like this dude's huge next to me, and he's like 6'5". I'm like, I gotta guard him too.
Yeah.
So at that moment, getting back to Seattle, working on Hakeem, me and Hakeem just put a plan down together, and like we was in there like 6-7 days a week. Like, like it didn't matter what it was always morning. And then like after that, we'd go get some food just to make sure I eat, smoothies and stuff like that. I used to always make smoothies after I worked out. And it was just like, he had a plan. We both was like, yo, this is the plan we want to do. And I think the biggest thing was just like, figuring out myself, And that's like, Hakeem helped me a lot. Mark helped me a lot too. And then, we just had a plan set together. And then hopefully, you always put your best foot forward. You put all your eggs in one basket sometimes. And hopefully, like, those don't crack. So, yeah.
And that's the grind sometimes. Like we talk about, there's risk. You may not get what you want, but the process, if you love the process, then you live with those chances.
Yeah.
I gotta give I have to give a shout out to mom and pops when it comes to you too.
Big T Brown and moms.
Yeah. Like I said, man, I watched you since you're a kid, and you've always been a good kid, and like, so you're very mature for your age, and man, how pivotal has it been, and especially too being an older brother as well. How pivotal.
Shout out Jay-Zell.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he got trust. I had to talk to him.
Yeah, try us later.
Jay-Zell. Yeah, man, give him a pep talk.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. But my parents always supported my decision, you know.
Mhm.
And for my mom and my dad, it was always gonna be my biggest friend, my biggest critic, you know. And I appreciate that from them. Guys. From my dad's like point of view, um, he always wanted me to make my own decision, and that's the only thing I could respect from my dad because like he can't say like if I don't do something right, he
Right.
can't say I can't point my finger at my dad and say, "Dad, you told me to do this and it didn't
Yeah.
work out."
Yeah.
So he always made a decision like, "Nah, this is your decision. Like I'm gonna support you regardless." And I knew like I really didn't understand it till like later. It's like like I'm gonna love you regardless. If you want to stop playing basketball today,
That's real.
tomorrow, yesterday, become a doctor, lawyer, I'm gonna always support you. So he
That's
never
real.
he never forced basketball. Like you got to play basketball to be successful. You know. That's
Yeah.
both my parents. So that's why like
Yeah.
it's easier for me to play basketball because like it's not forced. It's not me like here's a basketball. You got to play basketball because I want you to. It was always like this is your decision. I'm gonna support you. We're gonna do whatever it takes to help you get there, rather than
Mhm.
that you gotta want it or not. You know. So
You
that's
don't
the
want your
biggest thing like
kids to
my
end up
parents.
hating it later on. You got to
Mhm.
just,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? So that's definitely critical. Did you just going back just a little bit,
Mhm.
I want you to tell us, I know you're a Division 1 guard right now, but back then, did you feel like you were a Division 1 basketball player coming out of high school? Just being
Um,
quite honest.
yeah, quite
Did
honest, I think I was,
okay.
but not in the sense of like the role of scoring.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
I feel like I can come in and be like a great role player, play
Yeah.
defense, set the team
Hmm.
up.
Hmm.
It never was like in the sense of like scoring until I took that year off and went to Shoreline.
I agree.
And
I
then like
agree.
I developed them traits of
Yeah.
becoming a leader, scoring, and putting it all together.
And that's what it's about. A lot of people don't realize if you're not one of those guys coming through the door, that right there, more people should have respected it. But that right there would have got you on the floor coming in as a freshman playing defense. I talk about Tucker Hammond all the time. Like, I don't think people thought he would be a 1,500 point scorer like he
Yeah,
was, but freshman year he was ready. He could do something right away, and that was go in and play D. And then over time, like you, T Brown, he just got better
yeah.
offensively. So
I would say like to that, like even till now, like dudes in the NBA, like I played against, like right now, that's rookies. They
yeah.
don't come in looking to score. They come in just to be an energy plug,
Hmm.
And that's my mindset. Like in any situation I get into, I'm at least bring the energy, and I want to win the game. Like
Can't
my
teach
stat
that.
is like
Mhm.
my stats ain't what it. I don't really care about that because I'm like I feel like for myself, I'm a point guard. I base my stats off wins and losses. Like if we gonna win the game, me at the ball, that's fine. I'd rather have 0 points and 15 assists than 20 points and lose. Any day of the
Mhm.
week.
Mhm. Not everybody's handed the keys like as soon as they get to a program. And
Yeah.
you definitely like I said, we've watched you work your way up, and like I said, it seems like you have no problem taking the stairs instead of an elevator. What was that recruiting process like for you when you were taking that next step after Shoreline? Like, was Seattle U always the team that, kept their eyes on you, or was there other options?
I mean, since you were averaging 30,
Yeah. To be honest, a lot of teams wanted me to do 2 years of JUCO.
Mhm.
yeah.
It was like, do two
Ladies and gentlemen, he did do this all in 1 year at Shoreline, average
Mm.
30 all in 1 year. So just to,
appreciate that. But a lot of teams wanted me to do 2 years at JUCO, and like I knew like, once that clock starts, with D1, like
Mhm.
it keeps going. Like you
Yep.
yeah.
can't stop it for no reason. So like I try to make sure I put all my, put everything in order, like my school, my grades, and everything was just in order just in case if I had to come back, I could. But if not, I was gonna take the first, opportunity out. And honestly, we went to Seattle U. Glenn Dean was my coach also at Shoreline.
Okay.
He was cool, one of the assistant coaches. And no other schools really recruited me out of there. I think maybe a little bit of Pepperdine, Coach Keem said.
Okay.
But other than that, it was just Seattle U, and we went to them. Like we was like,
Yeah.
like he has a grades. If he gets his AA, can this work out? And Hayford, we had a meeting. Me, my dad, and Coach Vic and Coach Hayford. Hayford kept his word.
Hmm.
And then after that, man, Seattle U, like I said, you turn into a monster, bro. It's like I said, it was a T Brown that I know I've never seen before. You did 2 years at Seattle U?
Yeah, 2 years at Seattle U.
So like take us through that, man. Like, what was the mindset at Seattle U? Like, man, like you turned into a straight killer, bro. Like, well, like how was that?
Man, so what? This is a story that nobody knows. This is crazy.
Okay,
So you
man.
know how
Okay,
you
There
good
to get the
exclusives.
exclusive.
so you know how you go to those scrimmages preseason? It's my first year at CRDU. I don't think I played in the first scrimmage. I may have played like 2 or 3 minutes in the first scrimmage, and I'm thinking in
Wow.
my head so I go back to the hotel and I call Trey Simmons, and me and him close. Like that's my big bro. We were talking last
Yeah.
night or yesterday. And I was like, yo, I don't know if I made the right decision, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I was like, I only played like 4 or 5 minutes. Maybe I should have did another year at JUCO. But he was like, nah, you gonna be perfect. Like, you're gonna be fine. Like, he kept telling me, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be in a perfect position. He said, just keep working. So as that kept going, we had another scrimmage, and I had like 12 points, I think. And I played like at least like 20 minutes.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, like, he's seeing me, he's understanding, like, maybe I'm doing the right thing. So I'm still like on the second team. Like, I'm maybe like eighth man, seventh man. And we had a scrimmage maybe a couple days before we played Stanford, and I had 30 in the scrimmage with the second unit, and I think we lost by 1 or we won by 1. It was a close game.
But it clicked for the coach though.
It clicked fast. And then Haver was like, yo, like one of our players had an issue, and Haver was like, has Terrell ever given us any back talk? Like, all he's been doing is grinding, being a great teammate. We're gonna start you, Terrell. Like, you. And then ever since I started, my first game was at Stanford against John. So it was kind of crazy how everything came full circle in that moment. It was like, like I'm watching John play on TV, I'm rooting for him. And my first game is a Pac-12 school against, my cousin. So it's kind of dope to have that full circle. And then ever since then, it just started like just clicking, like, okay, score, you can pass, you can defend.
Did you feel like that was a test? Like, did you feel like if you would have blew up because you didn't play those minutes that it would have went differently? Like, looking back?
Nah, because I feel
or
like,
are you just glad you just stood strong?
I think I'm glad I stood strong, but I knew to myself, like, the work never goes unnoticed,
Right.
And like Brandon Roy, for another example, like me and him talk a lot. He always used to say the cream will rise.
Mm-hmm.
It has to rise at the end of the day. And that is the work you just keep putting in. Like, it might not, be all great right now, but you could keep grinding, you keep putting the work in, eventually, the cream will rise. So he kept saying that to me. And, I'm glad I, stepped to myself and kept grinding.
Oh, that's good. That's real good. Talk about your mentality, like going from being a defender to your second year at Seattle U. Your first year you averaged 17. I see now the second year we're at 20.7 now. Like, what's the mentality like now? Like, I'm in my second year. I go from a little bit of an underdog to, now I'm sort of the man. Like, what's your mental like about your day to day? Like, how are you carrying yourself now? Because some people can't deal with that going from here to here. You know what I mean? So, what were you like as a person?
I think the biggest thing, like, I think I stay myself. Stay humble at the end of the day. Because it can all be taken so fast. And I always, you gotta stay even keel. That's used to always tell me to stay even keel. But also I always still have that chip on my shoulder. Like, I feel like, I don't know who I seen it on Instagram a while ago. Like, it was like years ago. It's like you ain't never did something unless you do it twice.
Yeah.
I think Jay-Z said that in one of his songs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then that's just my mindset. Like, okay, I did it once, but sissy, can you do it again? Like, you ain't really did nothing unless you did it twice. So, like, I was still hungry. I was still, looking to get better, figure out ways to win, because we didn't win as many games at that time that from my first year there.
Mm-hmm.
But, the second year, we were just looking to win games, come together. And then that season was, crazy, I would say. Just the different defensive schemes they did against me.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. Talk about that. Like, I'm really the man now. So it's like, what was that like?
Man, it was the biggest thing is about trust,
Mm-hmm.
So I trusted my teammates a lot, I was actually looking at a clip this morning from my coach at CRDU. He sent me a while ago. And it was like we played against a team, Cal Bakersfield, and they kind of boxed and won me the whole game,
Yeah, that's real respect.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then they boxed and won me the whole game, and you got to pick and choose your spots, And I seen like throughout the whole game, like I picked and choose like when to attack, when to let, defer. Because then at the end of it, playing 4-on-4 with a lot of space. Like y'all like all the way out here guarding me. You got to pick and choose. And I knew like the second half, I was like, okay, I can get going now. They're tired. They're not really focused on me. Everybody else is hooping. So that's the biggest thing. And you just see so many different defenses. You can see like you can hear their scouting, like make them go right, make them pull up right. Because if he gets to the left hand pull up, it's a bucket. So like that's the one thing I was like, okay, I got to add that to my game now.
Yeah.
You kind of learn from the scouting report what they want you to do. Like I started like being more like mentally stronger, mentally focused. Like okay, he wants me to do that. I'm gonna start working on that. So when you make me go right, I'm gonna pull that up, and like now you can't guard me that way.
Yeah.
And that's like the whole thing.
And you're thinking the game too.
Yeah, thinking.
Yeah. You went through a whole.
Because I think once you get into those different situations, you become more of a thinker. You start thinking things out before it happens, becoming steps ahead of the defense or offense.
Yeah, man. Everybody listening, man. We got T Brown in the building. University of Arizona guard, Seattle native. Hoop narrative with my bro Fred Joe. We're gonna go to a quick break, quick ad. We're gonna come right back to y'all.
So you should move over. So you should move over. So you should move over.
What's good, everybody? You now listening to Hoop Narrative Podcast with my bro Fred Joe, special guest, University of Arizona guard T Brown Jr. in the building. Catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Anchor. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to the Colorcast app, a dope app. If you guys can go download that, it's a little app for you guys who like to watch NBA basketball games. If y'all don't like listening to some of the guys broadcasting, you can tune in and just your average people broadcasting. And they gave me and Fred opportunity to do a couple games, and I went successful. So definitely look forward to doing that again, and hopefully you guys can definitely come and enjoy us on that. Back to the start of the show, T Brown. So you finally kind of got your respect after them years at Seattle U, and you kind of got to go through like the real recruiting process.
Yeah, man. Big decisions one of now.
The top transfers last summer. How did that go? Like, how did the choice of how did you get to the choice of U of A?
Man, it wasn't easy at all, because like honestly,
wanted all over the place.
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of people wanted you, man. You were a hot commodity.
I really didn't want to leave Seattle U as quiet as kept because like.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, like people don't know that. Like I really didn't want to leave Seattle U. This the opportunity Coach Heffer gave me. Like you just can't. Yeah. I feel like it's the level of respect. Like he was the first person I talked to through it.
You gave me the chance to even get to this level.
Exactly. Like without Coach Hafer, I wouldn't be at this moment right now, and I appreciate him. And we talked about it and everything, and I really didn't want to leave Seattle U because it was the hardest thing to do because like. For me, like I'm a person that's like, built off of loyalty, He gave me his word, without knowing what he was gonna get from me, And me and Coach Hafer still talk to this day, like about everything. He tells me like, hey Terrell, how you doing? Like, what's up, Coach? Good win last night. Like I'll watch their game still and everything. He's like, I love you, when you get back, let's get lunch and dinner and stuff like that. But like that amount of loyalty, you can't, like in a way he changed my life because without him giving me the opportunity, I couldn't, be in this position I am in right now. But man, that recruiting process was crazy. Arizona was the first school that called me.
Okay.
It was like a shocker. Like I'm like, for real? Like I'm only getting called by University of Arizona.
Sean Miller?
Man.
We was all shocked. We're like Pac-12, U of A, this is huge.
Yeah. And it was like Arizona, San Diego State, which was another big one because it was like top 4 in the country last year.
My boy Clint Parks, he always said, well, if T Brown would have went there, he would have hooped there.
Man. Yeah, Clint's a good dude. Yeah. Kentucky called, Auburn called, UW called. UW was another one that was,
That's crazy because Kentucky, like, really over the last few years has like started to dabble into like transfers and senior transfer. That's not surprising that they reached out to you.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of schools called. Like it was like a lot of schools, but in a way, I was like kind of like turning down schools because I didn't want to like. I'm a person of respect, so I ain't gonna like waste your time and like that's the same type of dude. Like I want to focus on what I want to do, stay on the West Coast.
Okay.
So hopefully my family can come see me and stuff like that. But Yeah, and I think like I never really had like a top 5 or anything, but I think like my top probably 4 would be go back to CRU because just to see what was out there. Go out to CRU, go back to CRU. Sorry, UW, maybe San Diego State and
Mhm.
Arizona. That was like
Yeah.
my top schools
Those
I was
actually
gonna pick from.
all would have been good fits if you ask me.
Yeah, and once I talked to Jason, that's my goddad.
Shout out to Jet OG.
Yeah, it was almost like it was hard to turn on an opportunity to play against top level talent. In practice. We got a lot of good dudes here,
Hmm.
and playing the Pac-12, which I always dreamed
Yes.
about playing.
Hmm.
So it was kind of hard to turn that down and stuff like that. And I appreciate all the schools that recruited me during the process. But I think Arizona was probably like the best, like can help me develop my game to go to
Yeah.
hopefully get to the next level.
Hmm.
Well, were you really considering playing, staying at home, and putting on that purple and gold?
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't mad at you just because being from the hometown, they had the first dibs and you guys missed. So I wasn't mad that you chose not to skip because from a fan's perspective, like you guys missed on him and Mike Jones' status. Now he's hot. Now you want him. So let him go. But
No, I think everything happens for a reason. Like
yeah.
I was like seriously considering like
Oh, they could
going to
use you right
UW.
now. No disrespect. For sure could use you.
But yeah, I was definitely thinking about going to UW just because like a lot of my big bros went to Brandon, Will, Trey. It was just like a
The
fraternity.
guys we grew up watching there.
Tone, like it's a
Yeah.
fraternity. And you
Mhm,
kind of
Yeah.
want to be part of that fraternity, but I feel like you also got to do what's best for yourself.
mhm.
And that's like going away and figuring yourself out by leaving home for a little bit.
Mhm.
And then coming back when you're older, you gain the experience that you couldn't get at the time. So I feel like going to UW was a really possibility, but I think Arizona was like the right fit.
That's good.
That's what I like about these young guys, Fred. We've had
Yeah.
about a few of them come on the show, and like I said, that a lot of these guys are responsible enough,
Yeah.
smart enough to make their own decisions and
Mhm.
not really use too much swaying of like the outside world.
Mhm.
Us growing up, everybody was like, ooh, if UW's calling, that's
Right.
hometown. I'm putting on for the town, and which is great. I'm definitely no knock against those guys, but I can even respect a player even more who can understand that that this basketball world is bigger than the city that you do play, and you can always take the city that you're repping and bring it into a light of a whole different other area.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Arizona knows about the Seattle Watch. We had a few players through there, but to keep the legacy going with you two,
Right.
like I said, I definitely I thought you made the right move. Uh, like you said, you went to go play at the biggest school to get better. To like I said, you're now you as you get older, you start to think of that next step. What can
Mhm.
I do to get better to play at the next level?
Mm-hmm.
And talent wise and competition wise, like I said, I mean,
Yeah,
practice, I feel like for you guys, probably like a game for you
it's
guys.
a game. It's competitive. It's competitive every day. Blue, white.
Yeah.
We gonna go to war today. And that's just what it's about. And like I wanted to win too. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
Have a real chance at something big and special.
yeah, exactly. And like, coming from Garfield, you win. Shoreline really didn't win that many games.
Yeah.
CRU, we was in the middle of the pack. But I feel like for myself, like I was always been a winner growing up.
Yeah.
I'm Rotary, winning games. I want to get like a real shot of winning games. Like a real try to go into a tournament winning games. So that was the biggest thing, also.
15
Talk
and 8.
about
Oh, go ahead, Fred. Go ahead.
no, I just wanted them to briefly talk about Sean Miller. He's this illustrious coach, legendary coach, man. We see him on TV always sweating out his shirts, man. Just talk to us what it's like, playing for Sean Miller.
Man, he gonna keep it real with you.
Yeah,
Like he gonna get on you, but then he gonna praise you. And
yeah.
it's just so much that you can say because he's really a good coach. Like he
Mhm.
understands the game so much. He watches film so much. I mean, he probably watches the game we played yesterday probably 4 or 5 times by now. Like he's
Yeah.
always working. Like he's always looking for ways for us to get better. It was kind of crazy, talking to him on the phone the first time when, he was recruiting me. You know, like it's Sean Miller on my phone. You know, like he has pros walk in and out.
Yeah.
You know, like he can help you put people in position with the.
He's got Otis's center, DeAndre Ayton. So
A lot of players, man. Yeah.
Exactly. But like, you know, it's hard to turn on an opportunity like that and talk to him and, you know, see what he sees, you know, understand the way he coaches the game. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you kind of like, you know, think the game a lot more, you know. So that's what like he helped me with. It's just a surreal feeling sometimes, you know, being in the locker room with him. You know, you see him on TV when you're growing up, you know, coaching Arizona, and now he's your coach at Arizona.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it was just a different feel.
Shoot, for us, I mean, seeing him at Memphis, I mean, he had PT peers at Memphis. You guys are sitting right now at 15-8. I mean, it's a really tricky year this year in basketball, period. And I feel like I do feel like the University of Arizona will make it to the NCAA tournament. I would just let's stop there. Like, man, like that's gonna be a surreal feeling, and you know, knock on wood, not to jinx you guys, but I do think you guys have a very solid chance as of right now. But
yeah,
man,
but we did our own postseason ban, so we can't even
oh man,
we did self-imposed postseason ban, so we can't even go to any Pac-12. So these are like the last 2 games coming up.
Okay, so no NCAA tournament at all.
No tournament right now. Nothing.
Okay. Well, then, with 2 games left of your college career, I mean, what's next after this? Like, what do you see yourself? What are you gonna be preparing for?
Man, I ain't got into that too much. You know, I'm just trying to focus on the next 2 games. You know, and right now I'm focusing on. We got Washington State. They got Noah Williams that's hot right now. I think he's averaging like 34, 35 points, man.
Slim's hooping right now.
He's hooping. He's hooping for real. So, you know, we gotta focus on him right now. That's like the only thing I'm worried about next. And then after that, you know, we play UW, which is kind of crazy. That's my last could be my last collegiate game against, you know, the last 2 schools I was gonna pick from, you know. So it's kind of like a different feeling. But UW won a big game yesterday. And you know, I'm gonna, you know, come back home and, you know, figure out, you know, what's the best option for me, whether that's come back to school or, you know, pursue a pro career.
Yeah, I forgot you definitely have that option too. Yeah,
it's a free year, so everybody can come back next year.
Yeah.
T, I want you to talk about what it's like being from Seattle as far as your generation goes and seeing guys and playing against guys all over the Pac-12. Some of your guys in the NBA, you know, playing Zach, Jalen Newell, you know, a bunch of guys that you played against and played with. Talk about you guys' culture right now as far as how you guys are putting on for the Seattle basketball scene in college, in the NBA, professionally, overseas, all that.
Man, I think the biggest thing is like it's all love, you know. Like we all want each other.
I would say you guys' generation definitely is a little more. Yeah, there's more love. There's more family. Definitely.
Like we all stay in contact to this day. Like ain't like we hoop, we gonna compete on the hoop court, but off the hoop court we cheering for each other. You know, we want each other to, you know, win. And that goes for John at Stanford, PJ at TCU, like Jerron at UW, Fonzo at Utah State. Even Malachi Flynn, like even Tacoma dudes, like it's a big, you know, like we all compete against each other, but we all pushing to put, you know, Washington on the map, you know, Pacific Northwest on the map.
Did you play against Matisse too?
Yeah, Matisse,
76ers,
all them guys, like
man,
you know, all them guys, you know. So
Kevin Porter,
like, exactly, KP, like it's a big fraternity, you know. Like I always keep saying the word fraternity, but that's like what it is, you know. Washington, like we all compete, but we all want each other to eat because, you know, a lot of dudes from like California got a lot of dudes, New York, and we want to be them states that's like up and coming, you know. I feel like we've been here, but like we still be getting overlooked away. And then even for young dudes like Nolan, Paulo, Shane, all them guys.
Yeah. Putting on in a major way right now.
Well, I mean, we gotta ask. I mean, we always ask this question, especially for the Hoopers who are still playing. Let's see. How do I word this one with you? Because I mean, I guess you watch also the older generation, so I feel like you got a good feel, and then also your generation. I'm gonna ask you, who do you think are your top 5 favorite Seattle Hoopers of all time?
Man,
favorite.
5.
No pressure, no pressure.
I'm gonna have to go with Tone 1. Tone up. I ain't gonna put him in order. Tone definitely.
Yeah, it don't got to be no
5.
order, just 5. Yeah, it
I
don't
mean,
got
it's
to
funny
be.
too because we say that like for their era, like Tone is I feel just like and a king, and not even like anywhere
Yeah.
saying, but seriously,
Yeah.
Yeah, like my era, like, cause I can't say like Nate Route because I ain't seen him like
Yeah,
Mhm.
and we respect that. You know, I
yeah,
don't
like
want you
I
to
ain't
say
seen
some.
late. Like I seen
Yeah,
the highlights, but I ain't never like, but like Tone, Hakeem for sure, Peyton, Pepe.
yeah,
okay.
definitely.
Man, I'm gonna say Tremaine.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, a lot of guys have said Tremaine. Trust me, don't feel bad. A lot of
Yeah.
guys.
Tremaine was man, what he did for Lakeside. You saying like dudes older than me or dudes like around my age too?
It could be either
Whoever
or.
you feel like that you feel like you watched them enough, or gain some type of sense that okay, like these guys, I feel like these are one of the nicest players in Washington.
I don't know if I can say his name because I'm still in college.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
No, but
that's
I'm saying like I think Paulo gonna be one of the
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
He
Yeah,
for real.
yeah.
Legit.
I ain't mad at that name at all. I think what Paulo has done, I mean, so far with his career has been more than a lot of players. I mean, even our era did in high school. So
And he's
I
looking
ain't
for
mad at that.
everybody too.
Yeah.
He's looking for him too. It's like he ain't running
Exactly.
from nobody. He's looking for him.
Yeah. That's why, though we won't, and we like when we ask, we're not basing off like NBA career or nothing like that.
No. Who else said? I said Paulo, Tremaine.
You got you said
Peyton,
Hakeem,
Tone,
you said
Hakeem. Is
Siva.
that 5?
Yeah, that's
I got
5.
5.
Hakeem,
That's 5, right?
Tone,
Cool.
Yep, that's 5. Yeah, so Hakeem, Tone, Siva,
Tremaine.
Pepe. Paulo, and who was the last one? Tremaine. Yep, Isabel. Yep.
Like I said, all those guys have at one point in their career in Seattle had put on. I mean, Hakeem is a high school standout at Rainier Beach who went on to UW. I mean, we know Siva was one of the top guards ever since the dude was like 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
Tone is probably one of the most decorated Seattle high school players that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then Paulo, like I said, has sky's the limit for that kid. He probably might, in my opinion, he might be one of the best high school kids that I've ever seen.
Zach. See? Zach.
Oh shit! Yeah, I mean that is your era too. Yeah, and see that's crazy.
Man.
Like you start thinking like even Marky in high school was crazy too.
Marky was listen, man, he gave us fits, man.
Yeah,
like, Marky was crazy. Like I ain't even like.
I tell the older dudes all the time, man, when we talk. When you guys' list is not gonna look the same as guys like your age. You know what I mean? You can't be mad at T Brown for having Tremaine as one of his best 5 when you're 42 years old or you're 38.
And dudes in their 40s. I mean, we had coach from Montana on
Travis Decor.
The names he named. Yeah. Shout out to Coach Trav, but he's named some names we never heard of before, but we're gonna respect his knowledge of the game of basketball. So
I
definitely
forgot about them guys. It's hard to do 5 because we got some of these good hoopers from Washington in general.
Well, and you say Zach is he a little older than you?
Zach was a senior when I was a freshman.
Okay,
played them in state.
His development right now and what he's doing right now
is it's
crazy, man.
Oh my gosh,
it's crazy, man.
That's just the grind, though. That's a grind.
Yeah, you already know him and Paul, man. He's been
it,
living in that gym, and he has no choice. Speaking of the grind and the guys that we're talking about, a lot of guys we talk about this with, but the Rotary, the 19th and Spruce, man, talk about what that's done for you and the coaches that you've had and what it's meant for you and watching it now and things of that nature.
Man, it ensured that chip inside my body, I would say, like, because when Rotary became EYBL and stuff like that,
you guys were like when it first kind of started, I think, right, or a little after,
like the little circuit stuff. A lot of players from teams that like from Northwest Panthers try to come over and you know, like you try out for teams, try to take spots and stuff like that. And then that just kind of gave my hungerness because them dudes from, Tacoma that you used to battle against try to come over and play. And some dudes left and, didn't come back or whatnot. And, rightfully so, that they're having a great career till this day, in college and NBA. It was just a test of, how bad do you want it, just when you put everybody in the same room. Just like Tone's camp was, like you put everybody in the same room and you see, who's the, one of the top dogs or the top dogs in the, in the country or in the state.
Yeah.
So I would say that's what Rotary did to me. It made me hungry, I want to get better, keep getting better, and that's from D-Hand to Dan Fink, Coach Kareem, all them guys, Coach Dro, like Coach Adam, all them guys, like they, put that hunger in me. And I remember when Coach Dro coached me, he was like one of the funnest coaches I ever had, him and D-Hand, Like all of us is fun coaches, to be honest. Like it ain't never been a bad like situation, but this the community as a whole of being 19th and Spruce, it's something that you always want to, look back and like remember like the memories we have.
Yeah, like I was a part of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like you guys started it, you guys are like older than us and start that. And just like the community that you guys like, laid the foundation for and people behind you, you just keep wanting to like, build brick by brick.
Yeah.
So it was kind of crazy, I mean, D-Hen was the first one I called to, tell him going to Arizona, so stuff like that.
Hey, we always even when Peyton talked about that with Louisville, that D went with him. I'm like, wow, I was surprised. D's like, always tapped in quietly though.
He's always there quietly. Exactly. Like he doesn't even loud. He
doesn't like all the recognition like that.
Yeah, but like even like the memories we have, like me and John and Jalen was just talking about like a trip we took to Brooklyn, an EYBL trip. And talking to D-Hen, it was one of the funnest car rides ever. Like we can't say what was being said in the car with
right.
But it was one of the funniest car rides ever. Like this memories you have with D-Hen and stuff like that with Adam. Adam be late to games sometimes. Like I don't know what Adam be on.
Hey, that was going on back when I came.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
But it's just the memories you have.
Hat still on, never taking that hat on.
Never. But like it's just the memories you have though with the coaches like that. Like you build those like relationships, genuine relationships. I can call Adam today. Like every time I'm back in Seattle or whatever I got time, I'm going up to Rotary, chop it up with Adam and Daryl. You just chop it up. Even when I was playing for Seattle, I always stop by Rotary. My mom, like, have you talked to Adam? Stuff like that. So it's just like the relationships, because I used to work out with Adam a lot growing up and stuff, So it was kind of dope to have that, relation with 19th and Spruce and, what they're doing now with the younger generation is, all the younger kids that keep pushing and keep grinding, I want to be like a, I guess not the blueprint, but like somebody to look up to,
Oh yeah, you're definitely one of those kids. Definitely.
Yeah.
Quick question. You still think you're overlooked in the city?
I think they know what I can do.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm not done yet, Like
oh, no,
I still
for
got
sure
a lot more, I want to prove to people,
I'm gonna say if anybody ever, was sleeping on you before, I think they would learn not to bet against you. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think, I wouldn't say like I don't look for myself to be on those like top 5, because I feel like it was just the process for me,
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate the process a lot more than like the end result. Like I'm appreciating like the steps I'm taking to get to where I want to get to, and however long it takes me to get there. I'm gonna enjoy it. I don't want to rush it.
That's why you're where you're at right now. Anybody who can enjoy the process, understand the grind, and actually want to grind.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a ceiling, and as we see that with you right now, like I say, we explaining your process of going from Garfield to Western Oregon to Shoreline, which is a community college, to Seattle U, which is a small Division I, to a decorated Pac-12 school. That's all grind, if you ask me.
And no disrespect to, the NWAC, but T. Brown didn't go to a national JUCO. He went to a regular JUCO in Seattle, Washington, NWAC, so to do what he did is, and you talk about blueprint, things of that nature. I think others can agree with me on this. You're definitely one of the guys of, one of the spokespersons of the blueprint of the grind, because I think even older guys like us and some of these younger kids, they've watched you, you know what I mean? And I tell guys all the time that you may not be T Brown, but look at him, a guy that a lot of people probably looked the other way on, and he kept grinding and believing in himself. And look where he's at. You know,
that's the biggest thing. You know, you just gotta stay confident. Like you're gonna have your doubts. Like every person has their own doubts. You know, in their own mind. I mean, but as long as you stay confident, you know, and have that self-confidence.
Yeah,
that's something that you can't let people destroy you. Like me and Hakeem was just talking today, and he was like, keep that confidence. You know, like don't let nobody destroy your confidence. At the end of the day, because all the work you put in, like my dad used to always tell me, like people wouldn't even expect you to be this far. The way you're playing with house money.
Just being honest, I agree with that 100%.
I love that statement. Playing with house money.
I'm playing with house money. Like you wouldn't think you're going to like think about that. Like you can't tell me 5 years ago from now that like you'll be in Arizona. Like you'd be like, yeah, whatever. You know. So like I'm just taking everything in. Like I did an interview with the radio people for school.
Yeah.
Like, what's the biggest? Like everything's been different, Like it's a different feeling, different, city, different everything. So like you just take it in, and take it day by day. You don't want to rush it and think, too far ahead.
You gotta love the day to day to really reap those benefits and rewards, man. You have to love it.
Yeah.
2 games left, man. Like I said, we got T Brown here, U of A senior. 2 games left. Washington State, UW. Thursday, and then big time, possibly, maybe last game of his career, maybe not.
Maybe not.
UW, February 27th. Definitely though, big shout out to you to come step up on Hoop Narrative podcast.
Yes,
definitely the similarities. We trying to grind this thing up. It was a no brainer. To send that invite to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Opportunity, like I'll be watching y'all, Paulo, everybody. I'll be seeing the updates and everything. It's been dope, just listening. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, we just trying to give y'all the platform because just like you said, I mean, for some odd reason, still Seattle hoop culture is so underrated and still like not really gotten the flowers it deserves. So I mean, why not do this for you guys?
So I just want to say, thank you, T Brown. Like Otis said, we hadn't watched you grow up. Keep grinding, keep being a spokesperson for what the grind is, the marathon, and like you said, you're not done, man. I think there's better things ahead for you because of both of those chips that you keep on your shoulder. And stay committed, man.
Yeah, I appreciate
every day. Don't cheat it, and you'll reap the benefits.
Exactly. Has little bro ever beat you 1-on-1?
Nah. So when he got older, I started taking him serious, and he ain't, like we get too mad, we get too competitive. Yeah. Before getting 1-on-1.
That's one of Otis's sneaky questions.
Yeah, no, we get too competitive.
I'm gonna get a story out of one of y'all, man. But once again, man,
I put on 1-on-1. Yeah, I got him good last time. I got him good though.
Like Otis, it's always different now, huh? For the big bros, it's always different now. I'm a way different hooper now.
Yeah, that's how I used to tell him that too. I was like, yo, like I ain't gonna let you win today. You're gonna have to play. You're gonna play defense for a long time today. It's been fun.
Ooh. Man, once again, Hoop Narrative Podcast. Catch us on all platforms for a podcast. The YouTube will definitely be going up as well, man. For me, OT, my brother, as always, Fred Joe, man. Special guest T Brown. We out, man. Hoop Narrative.
Took a breather and came back in no time. Put the ball in my possession and it's showtime. I'm taking the last shot, coach, don't mind. I'm a different predicament, so it troubles you. Game clock ticking and I'm coming for the W. One man ain't enough, they gon' have to double two. Get ball shot made, all the fans loving you. Time expired, everybody rushing you. Now you done showed them what you about. Try to tell you we was gon' make it without a doubt. Do what they can, I'm already stamping. I be shitting like Kevin Durant. I'm in the game, ate up. When I steps on the floor, I don't waste time. 2 seconds, 1 shot, I'ma make mine. Hit a 3-pointer on baseline. They want my spot, I'm trying to save mine. So you should move over. 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 So you should move over.